All right, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh is who the word inwardly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the word inwardly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside them. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. And today's lesson is going to go into this article I found entitled "Russia Tells EU to Sober Up." So it says, Moscow says Brussels must free itself from Washington's control. Mending relations between Russia and the European Union is still possible, but it will only happen when the latter sobers up from the American Bourbon and gets rid of U.S. influence, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Saturday. Right? Because according to Russia, he sees, or according to the Russian or the rulers of Russia, the president and things of that nature, they see that the European Union is they're basically tied down by America. Everything that America does, being that they're in conglomerate, they get affected by it. They actually have to partake, no matter how stupid it is. And the scriptures say right here, according to them being drunk off the American bourbon, it says Babylon, Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon is another name for America, if you don't know by now, have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Now the nations that have drunken of her wine is also written of in the scriptures as the 7 heads and 10 horns. All right? They have drunken of her wine. They have drunken of her philosophies. Actually, I want to grab that in the my sword. Let me grab that in my sword. Okay, it doesn't really give me much. But the nations have drunken of the philosophies of America. All right, let me jump back over here now. Let's go to Revelation 17:12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay? So this is what Moscow means when it says the European Union, otherwise known as the 7 head and 10 horn in the scriptures, need to sober up. They need to take their power back. Because what happens when you drunk? Let's go back over to Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take bomb for her? Nope, Salakia. Let me start back up at 7. Babylon, start at 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver everyone his soul. Be not cut off from her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, the Most High is going to melt this place, as it says in Isaiah 34. All right, you're not going to know what's what. Everything's going to be melted from New York to California, from north to south. It says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. They're mad, they're raging. I want to grab that definition. All right, as you see, mad, to shine, be boastful, jumping down to boast, glory, make one's boast, to make a fool of, make into a fool, to act madly, act like a madman. All right, so to act irrationally, that's what these nations are doing by following after America, which we understand that America acts irrationally. Why put sanctions on countries that supplies, that's holding you up, like Russia, China, and countries like that that's holding on to your debt, you know, whereas you import everything and they export everything. But that's what happens when you drink upon the philosophies of America. You become irrational, you become trigger happy, you do things uh you do things ass backwards. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. All right, let me see some real quick. So it says, Russia-EU relations, however, are unlikely to improve in the near future, he admitted. Moscow expects that to happen only when Western Europe realizes that it and not the US is responsible for its own fate, he added. Which as we just read, America, all right, or Babylon is going to be melted. And according to the scriptures in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7, or Obadiah verse 7, because it's only one chapter. All right. Esau, which I believe was at Psalms 137, Esau and Babylon is synonymous. What's going to happen with them? It says, all the men of thy confederacy, all right, all the men that have, signed on to your democracy, to your way of living. Let's grab it over here. Let me see. You know what? Instead of going back and forth, I'm going to just put a split screen with the My Sword. Okay, could do that. It says covenant alliance. Treaty alliance league. All right, I believe it was one of the treaties that the European Union started under was the Treaty of Rome. So Constitution Ordinance agreements. All right, so what one does, we all do. According to what is that, NATO? All right, if one goes to war, they all go to war. All right, and that these sanctions that the EU put on Russia, they fucking themselves over because they can't get gas. They can't receive the bulk of food that they once was able to. Mending relations between Russia and the European Union is still possible, but it will only happen when the latter sobers up from the American bourbon and gets rid of the U.S. influence. All right, and as we see, that's what's going to happen. Let me finish that off. What? Come on, man. Damn. Yo, it's crazy. all good. We got this, man. Let's just go back into it. It's no biggie. No biggie at all. Lord willing, I can find it again. Here we go. Call lawyer. How about Shimmy? I was shy. All right, so let's finish it off. When the Europe, okay, read that. Russia-EU relations, however, are unlikely to improve in the near future, he admitted. All right, which it will. As a matter of fact, to finish that off, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, all right, have partakers of your benefits, receive loans and everything like that from you, have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. All right, meaning they're going to leave you out to dry. Matter of fact, they're going to be one of the ones that, when it says in Revelation 17, all right, so we read at 13 where it says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. But now when we jump down to verse 17, verse 16, yeah, 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, all right, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God be fulfilled. Okay? And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay? So, the Most High will put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. The Lord's will is to destroy this place, to set this place desolate, to separate this place from society. All right? From ever being a great asset or a great nation from its remembrance. The scriptures say in the kingdom how we shall narrowly look upon him and say, is this the man? All right. Hey, America is going to be a place of great wasteness, just as Sodom and Gomorrah is to this very day. Okay. When the Europeans sober up, all right, which is spiritual because they will up from the American bourbon a little bit, and when they finally realize that we should on our own take care of the fate of our continent, Europe, maybe even Eurasia, then it will happen. That's not a matter for the nearest future, but then the time will come for a reassurance of our relations, Peskov stated. And when we notice, even the scriptures say, what's that, Zephaniah 3, that the Most High bringeth his judgments light every morning. All right, so as you would think there's things are going to go this way, the Most High, makes things happen according to his word, according to his prophecy, to his book. The already strained relationship between Moscow and the EU entered a downgrade spiral after the Kremlin launched a large-scale military offensive in Ukraine in late February. Brussels responded with a massive wave of new anti-Russian sanctions targeting Russia's financial and energy sectors, censoring media and serving travel links. Moscow blamed Ukraine's failure to implement the terms of the Minsk agreement signed in 2014 and Russia's eventual recognition of the Donbass Republic in Donetsk and Lugansk. The German and French brokered protocols had been designed to regularize the status of those regions within the Ukrainian state. Russia has now demanded that Ukraine officially declare itself a neutral country that will never join the NATO alliance. Okay, Um, but yeah, prophecy is happening, man. And hey, it's a call for EU nations to wake up, which you will. All right, so I just want to highlight this article with that. Shalom to the elect.